Hey, what's up, guys? I guess this is my thing now that I do, where everything all these games come out, and I have to do a video where I talk about my thoughts and all that stuff. This is a reoccurring bit apparently now, which I guess is not a bad thing. I think I would rather have stuff that is divisive or stuff that is worth talking about in this way, rather than a game that you beat and oh yeah, it's fine, yeah, it was good, and then you never discuss it again. So I guess it's a good thing. But this has happened multiple times this year, where a big game came out and there was kind of a lot to a lot to take in. But I thought, I can't just tweet out my Last of Us 2 thoughts. I need to just record it. This is just all off the top of my head, so none of this is really prepared. I did jot a couple things down so I wouldn't forget real quick, but I don't have a script. I'm just going off the top of my head, having just beat The Last of Us 2. I thought I would talk about it. I want to say, before I get into like my thoughts, good or bad, whatever, I want to give a shout out to the art team, or I don't know what you call that. The people who made The Last of Us 2 look so good. The artists. I think artists is a acceptable term, I think, for everyone who made this game look the way it did, and give it I mean, I went so many places that felt different from one another, and I'm going to spoil stuff in this video, by the way. Spoilers are happening, so just I'm not holding anything back. But the fact that you're in Seattle and then California looks completely different, and all these other things in between, this is one of the most visually impressive games I've ever played. Some of the most incredible set pieces in a video game. This game had a boss fight in it. I didn't expect Last of Us to have a freaking boss fight. That was just every foot of it just looked incredible, and I couldn't believe my PS4 was doing the stuff that it did. So I want to give a shout out to the artists, because I know some of our viewers are like Mega 64's viewers are artists that worked on that game. I can name a few, and they did an incredible job, and they should be highly commended for the work that they did on this game, because damn, you guys deserve, I don't know what you got paid, you deserve a raise, because damn, you guys are seriously the true heroes of this game. But like I said, some of the most incredible things I've seen in a game were in this game. Now, what did I think of it overall? What did I think of the whole game overall? I'm going to say just generally that when I beat it yesterday, yeah, I think it was yesterday. When I beat it yesterday, I was a little more mixed about it than I am now, because I've let it kind of set in, and I thought, wow, that game did a lot of unsafe, provocative stuff, and dragged me through an experience that I can't really point to. This is what I kind of base it off of. I can't point to another game that put me through what I went through in this game. I can't really name another game like that. So that's approval from me. I was I liked it. I'm gonna say overall I liked it. There's a lot of things though that I think were at odds with each other. There was a little bit of, to me, tug of war between, here's a cool thing for the story, but did the game suffer for it? Or this might be cool for the game, but then does that make sense for the story? I kind of feel like there was a little tug of war back and forth, and I'll get into that. But I do want to say generally, I appreciate that this game took risks and did, I'm going to use the word provocative 1,000 times, but did provocative stuff instead of just playing it safe. Uncharted 4 was a really fun game. A lot of people love Uncharted 4, but I never truly embraced it as much because I felt like it was a little safe. I didn't feel like, I'm not saying it was a bad game, but I felt like it was a little, let's not rock the boat too much, which maybe that's appropriate for Uncharted, maybe, it's a, kind of a pulp kind of serial or whatever you want to call it kind of story. So maybe you don't want to rock the boat too much, but I was down for a little more risk. I kind of, I just was hoping this wouldn't turn out that way, and it didn't. This game took a ton of risk, but again, some of it was give and take with, with kind of the two sides of the creative vision here, I thought. But overall, I would rather have games like this that take risks and do these kind of provocative things. I told you I was going to say it a bunch of times. I'd rather have games like that and a game like Death Stranding. I know like people were mixed on that too. Some people, it was the best game they'd ever played, and then other people didn't even want to go near it. I would still rather have games like that in the mix, even if they don't hit the mark 100% of the time, or even a lot of the time, I would rather have those exist than not. You know what I mean? Just putting it out and it's like, yeah, another Last of Us, Joel and Ellie fucking around and the end, would have been fun, but I wouldn't have, I don't know. I just be like, yeah, cool. And then a week later, its power is gone. You know what I mean? So I appreciate this existing, and I value that something like this on this scale. I mean, this game was an epic. This game really was an epic. The fact that can exist, a AAA blockbuster sequel can take risks like that, whether they worked or not, whether they, landed or, stuck the landing or not. I still appreciate that got through the whole system. I think the more I get older, I appreciate the unique things. I appreciate the things that stand out, good or bad. I can look at something and go, hey man, it's a miracle that got through. You know what I mean? That's incredible. That got through. I know some people who hated the game are going to be like, yeah, it is a fucking miracle it got through. Fuck that. I know what you mean. And I don't think either side of the debate is wrong. Well, there's things that I do think are wrong, but I'll get into the granular items in a little bit. But, I appreciate something that, I appreciate a kind of a unique thing, no matter if it was the most valuable or not. I appreciate that something like that got made. But anyway, whatever. I'm rambling on and on. What I meant by the tug of war between story versus being a good game, I guess what I kind of mean is like, well, again, I'm spoiling shit, whatever. They kill Joel at the beginning of the game. They kill him, which I really wasn't shocked that he died. Like, I think that was supposed to be played as this big, what the, I don't know. I feel like at no point did I ever think he was going to be a main character in this game or featured really at all. Like, I mean, just my impression from anything they showed about this game, I thought, oh, this guy's going to be like background. I mean, he's not in any gameplay. He's not in anything. Like, I just didn't feel like that was ever even in the cards. So them killing him, I wasn't shocked by him dying. I was shocked by how it played out. And it's funny, in the moment, I was kind of like, oh yeah, like I felt like an idiot. I was like, I didn't even consider that people would come back for him after what he did at that hospital in the first game. I was like, oh yeah, oh shit, of course, he wiped out a ton of people. Like, why would someone not come back for him? So it made sense to me I mean, I realized that a little bit late, but it made sense to me. And the way they did it, being the catalyst for kind of what happens in the game and this story of hatred, I thought was excellent. I thought that was great. I guess some people were mad about like they did the characters wrong, but I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like his story was done, and his death, as grisly and disrespectful as it was, that was meant to. I mean, these I don't know. This series is kind of meant to be a little upsetting, so that didn't bother me. But then okay, so that's a cool in my eyes. That's an interesting story piece. But what does that mean for the game as a game, not a movie, but a game? Well, you play as Ellie for 10 to 12 hours, and it's the same kind of stuff as Last of Us 1, but with a more boring partner. You know what I mean? Like, I like the story development that Joel died, but I'm playing as Ellie for 10 to 12 hours, just like, okay, like her girlfriend, what is her name? I'm blanking out. Dina. You know, she's okay, but she's not that. I mean, she's all right. The one dude, Jesse, wasn't that interesting. These aren't bad characters, but it's just kind of like, yeah, all right, you know, in the original Last of Us game, you had a bond between those two characters, Joel and Ellie. You bond, you discover that bond with them, and so they feel like family to you. I'm not trying to compare everything to the first game, but this is the sequel to that game, and I'm playing as Ellie, who's in a bad mood, and their partner just isn't that interesting. So that's not as fun. It's not. I mean, again, I know they're not going for fun with this game, but it's just not as like, I don't know. I was really disengaged from this game for the first 10 to 12 hours, to be totally honest. Yeah, I said, Ellie's in a bad mood. It's like going over to, to your friend's house. Oh, dude, my best friend, I'm going over their house. It's so much fun when I go over there. We're going to have pizza and play Super Nintendo, whatever. And you go over there and your friend's in a bad mood the whole time. You would sit there thinking like, man, it was so much fun last week when we ate pizza and played Smash TV, but this time sucks. That's how I felt. We're with Ellie again, and she's just morose. Yeah, kill him. Yeah, all right. So I don't know. I played the first half of this game just like, all right, and in addition to that too, that stuff happens with Joel. Oh man, we got to kill those people who did this. We got to go get them. That's kind of the only impetus of the first half. I kind of felt like I was again halfway through the game. I was going, what's the point of this? Like, she's getting revenge. Okay, are we gonna learn revenge is bad? Like, what is the point of this? Like, I really kind of felt like I'm enjoying this. It's a return to Last of Us. I'm loving exploring that world. Don't get me wrong, having a blast playing that, but what is the point of this? However, what I was looking for came in the second half. In terms of what was the point, I thought it was fantastic having this, going to this other side where you play as Abby, whatever. I thought it was fantastic that she's the daughter of the doctor that you killed in the hospital. Mwah, fantastic. That was such great. Because now, once I hit that part, I was like, oh, here's your point. We're seeing this horrendous thing that happened in the first game from the other side, and we're realizing everyone's revenge story has some other thing on the other side like that. You know what I mean? Like we only got one side of that. Violence doesn't just have one side to it like that, or hate, or whatever you want to say. Learning that was like, oh, here we go. You're all right. I see what you're trying to do with this game. And then in terms of the gameplay, I thought the gameplay was way better in that second half. I thought all the impressive set pieces and whatever, again, the boss fight kind of shit and all that stuff was in the second half. The stuff that I played where I consistently thought, I don't know what the gameplay is going to be in here. I don't know what I'm going to do when I head into this. That was all in the second half. I thought that second half was where the game came together a little bit more for me. However, that's where the game got better. But then from the story side, okay, the development of her being the doctor's daughter is really cool. But then you're kind of with her group of people, Abby's group of people, and I don't know them. And it's kind of like, oh, let's hang with them and kind of, learn their stuff. And I felt like that whole group was just extremely off-putting. Like, you're just like, all right, you know. I like that, again, I like that we're seeing the side of her as a victim of what you did in the last game. You know, I like that aspect, but her group, I don't give a shit. You know, it's just like, what was the dude's name? I don't even remember. Blake, or that's not his name, but I'm whatever. Generic dude. And I don't know. I just did not care about that. But again, the gaming aspect, the kind of the levels you'd explore with her were really cool, and and adding the religious cult to it was a great sort of Resident Evil-esque. I mean, the game, I already felt like The Last of Us was the best Resident Evil game ever made. I said that at one point. But this game kind of was even more Resident Evil, and I did like that. You had even more grotesque things you were going up against, including the boss fight I mentioned. But the religious cult aspect, I thought was dope. I thought that was a cool addition. What do they call them? The Scars? But what was their real name? Whatever. I didn't think any of whoever was your partner at any given point through the gameplay, I didn't think any of them were that interesting, except for I did grow to like the bond between Abby and Lev. I did kind of learn to like Lev. They were cool, but that's the most I could say in terms of like a partner helping you. Otherwise it was just, that kind of, I don't know, the kind of banter and camaraderie that made Last of Us 1 so good. It wasn't there in this one. And again, like maybe there's reasons for that in the story and it's okay, whatever, but just as a game that I'm playing, it's like, okay, well, you're not hitting that beat, whatever. But in terms of you going to Abby and playing her for the second half, I was surprised by that. That was the biggest surprise of the game for me, is that like, oh, is this the rest of the game? And I will say this. Well, let me back up. I was playing the game. I talked to my brother Dominic. He plays all the big games. He didn't play this one. He didn't pick it up. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, why? You're not even going to try it? And he's just like, he's like, the stuff I heard about it, I'm already tired. No, thanks. I was like, really? That kind of surprises me. Okay. And he, I was playing through a part as Abby, and he's like, so you're playing as her the rest of the game, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I was like, really? Because this is what I told him. I said, this to me is Raiden all over again in Metal Gear Solid 2. If you never played Metal Gear Solid 2, the star of Metal Gear Solid is Solid Snake. You play as him in all the games. But Metal Gear Solid 2 pulled a fast one. You play as Snake at the beginning, and then suddenly it's like, oh, maybe he's dead. Well, he's gone, whatever. And you play as a soldier named Raiden the rest of the game. And that was a big, they kept that a secret. That was a big shocker. And I said, this is just that again. That's how I felt. And I like that. I like that kind of, I like risk like that. I like that kind of storytelling that is just like, fuck your expectations. boom, we're going over here. I always use an example from the TV show Lost, and I know it's tiring. I've been doing this for like a decade. I know. But I remember one of the things a lot of people didn't like was in the last season of the show, they're supposed to wrap everything up and, we're wrapping up this and that, whatever with these characters. And then in the third to last episode, they go to some other time period on the island and none of the series leads are in it. And I remember people were like, what the fuck? Like, you're not, the show's almost over and you're going to these other characters. But I love that kind of bold storytelling that is so like, violently outside of your expectations, I like that kind of stuff. So I told my brother that, and he was like, I just don't, this is what he said to me. He was like, I'm tired. I'm just over the bait and switch. I'm just not feeling like, tell me what, I'm over the bait and switch. And I thought, like, I don't know. Is it bait? I was, I kind of was taken aback by that. I was just like, is that bait and switch? I don't know. They didn't, but then I thought about it more. Well, first of all, let's just say this first. Raiden was not received well. It's been 20 years and we accept it for what it is because it's part of this massive Metal Gear story. But I thought about it more and I was just like, yeah, you know what? Raiden went over like a lead balloon with a lot of people. So I guess, yeah, one shouldn't assume that everyone would be cool with it. It's kind of like, I thought I was buying this thing, but it's this other thing. I get that. It's a sequel to a beloved franchise and you're not with a character you really invested in. I get that. But I don't know, that kind of thing. I kind of enjoy the whiplash of that, But then I thought about it more and I was like, there was a trailer for Last of Us 2 where Joel came in and like, Ellie's about to do this thing and then someone grabs her and she's like, what the? And she turns around and it's Joel and he's like, you didn't think I would let you do this alone, did you? And it was like, oh, okay. Oh, cool. Joel is, in this game. We barely saw him in any trailers. That scene is in this game, but it's not Joel. It's that dude, Jesse. So for the trailer, they swapped Joel, or they put Joel into Jesse's, like they just put Joel's head on Jesse, basically. And I guess I read a thing that it was like, they did that to preserve the secret, the surprise. Nah, that was stupid. Sorry. I don't think, preserve the surprise. That's fine. Like do that by, omitting, or maybe, hey, don't show anything after the first 15 minutes or, whatever. That's cool. But to like swap him out in a scene, what am I getting out of that? Like, oh, you thought he was in this? Yeah, I did, and then I bought it, and he's not. I never thought he was going to be a main thing in this game because in anything I saw, there was no the vibe to me was clear. This was Ellie's game, and Joel's story was over. So that didn't register to me in that way. But I kind of just don't. After I thought about that, I'm like, my brother. This is what I say to always call him my brother. But I don't blame him for feeling that way, and I don't blame anybody else for feeling that way either. I was like, why do that? Like, just don't show Joel. Like, just don't, who cares? Like, I don't think that would have affected that scene of him dying or the way that he went out. I don't think that would have affected anything. Just don't show him. Why'd you have to do this, fake scene stuff? I don't know. I just didn't, to me, I didn't really appreciate that. I just thought, I don't know, just why? Anyway, so yeah, I kind of I enjoyed when it shifted to Abby's storyline. I love that. But I can see why people feel a little toyed with, And I think in my brother's case, he just looked at it and it just seemed like a kind of a mess. Just like, wait, I'm sorry, what is it? And it's not what this, and it's not what they led us to believe with this and that, and I don't know, I can see people kind of like being like, what are you doing? I get it. But I liked when it went to her storyline. I did like it overall, despite any complaints I have. I liked it overall better, and there was incredible set pieces. When you're like riding on a horse out of the Scars village while it's on fire, and you fight that dude during the, oh my god, that was incredible. Fighting the mega clicker or whatever was unbelievable. Like, some of the most impressive shit on the PS4 is in that half of the game, you know. But then you get to the part where where you have to fight Ellie as Abby, and and then that part I'm like, I see Abby's side now, and that is a cool part to the story, to see her, the side of a different group. And again, I'm praising that they did that, because to me, I always felt like, oh, Last of Us 2, they should have done it about some other group. Well, they kind of gave us both, like, okay, here's the continuing story of Joel and Ellie, and then a whole new group. Like, we got that. That's cool. But I still have not bonded with Abby in the way that I did with Joel and Ellie. And so when they have Abby and I'm playing as her beating the shit out of Ellie, I was like extremely put. I was just like, I know what they're trying to do. Oh, these aren't just, people that you fight in this game. People are, you can't just laugh at the violence. You have to feel this. Like everyone is someone's Ellie. Violence shouldn't just be, oh yeah, fun, beat the shit out of that person and laugh. It's like, no, like in that scene, you do realize the impact of violence, and wow, Ellie as a person, and it's hard to do that to her. But I'm also like, dude, I know you're trying to teach me that lesson, and I guess in a way it worked. I was horrified by that scene, but I also just kind of felt like, I don't know Abby well enough to be on the other side yet. Like, I'm still with Ellie, and this scene is kind of gross to me. I don't know. I wasn't feeling that. But again, it kind of came around. I went through a lot of waves with everything, but it came out of that, and I kind of like where it went once that concluded. I mean, Ellie kind of went off and did her own thing, and Abby went to California. I know a lot of people were saying that, at least that I heard, that said that the Santa Barbara chapter was unnecessary, but I kind of liked how deranged it twisted the story even further. That this could be over, but hate still lingers. It still is in there, and it sometimes our biggest fears, and Ellie has PTSD and stuff that she suffers through while she's on that farm and stuff, and I kind of feel like it was a statement on hate and how it really does not go away, and it's kind of a sickness. I like, even though maybe you didn't need the last chapter in terms of whatever, maybe we got it at that point. I kind of liked that it pushed it one thing too far. A lot of games I wouldn't like that, but I kind of liked it in this game because, yeah, it made you, it felt even more sick. Like, Ellie, dude, what are you doing? You have a family here. And she goes that much further. She just goes one thing too many. I liked that. Personally, I like that. But now I'm going to give kind of the other side of it in my feelings. All this kind of horrific stuff in the game that you're going through, or that you're putting the character through, whatever, through the gameplay, I kind of feel like, bear with me, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. In The Last of Us 1, you're kind of discovering stuff along with them. From the very beginning, I mean, you are with Joel as the world falls apart, and you see what happens to his daughter, and oh my God, I mean, you've already been through hell and back with him. And then you see him bond with this kid, and you see, as the game goes on, and you I don't know, they're learning about each other, but you're doing that with them, you know what I mean? And even in the last part, as horrific as that hospital scene is, you're kind of stumbling through the decisions with him. You know what I mean? Like, how do I say it? You don't walk into that hospital going like, oh, I'm going to mow all these guys down. But as it goes on and on and on, you're starting to think like, are they going to do something bad to Ellie? Oh, they are. Oh, they are. Well, should we let them do that? Is that not, does it benefit humanity if we just turn away from, what do we do? And then in the, almost as suddenly as it, you know, pops into Joel's head, it pops into yours. Oh my God, I need to shoot the doctor. Oh my God, I need to shoot the doctor. Get her out of here. Get her. Like, you're kind of coming to that conclusion the same time he is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You grow with them, good or bad. And I will say that in this game, the miserable stuff you go through, again, like, you know, as much as I say I like that they added the California part, you kind of do already know, before she even heads to California, you already know that revenge is bad. You already know that this is not going to be good. You know, in turn, like, this hate that is manifested isn't going to benefit her. You already know it's all bad. But you still have to play through it. You know what I mean? Like, you figure all this stuff out kind of 6 hours before any of them do. You know what I mean? That's the one part as a game, again, back to it being a game, that I was kind of like, yeah, am I pushing Ellie through this then just to see how the story goes? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm wording that correctly. But yeah, you already know these things are bad before they happen. And again, I'm not saying this game is executed bad in that way or whatever, but that was kind of what was so cool about the first Last of Us, is you were kind of like as shocked as the characters were, you know? If that makes any sense. I don't know if I am. But that kind of ties into a bigger question that I had when the game was over anyway, which is, this game really was miserable, like, most of the time. And I think we've realized as a public, we can do downer entertainment. Like, doesn't all have to have a good moment, or it comes around or whatever. I think Chernobyl, when that show was on, being as big as it was, kind of revealed that. You know what I mean? Like, this is pure dread every moment, and you can actually double down on it, and it's okay if you do it really well, you know? So I think it can be a downer, but I guess it got me questioning the role of video games and misery in how do I say this? If you wanted to go to an escape room tomorrow, you'd go. Why? Because it's fun. If you wanted to go skiing tomorrow, you'd go because it's fun. We do activities because they're fun. I guess maybe for exercise, but we're not talking about that. And who exercises? We do activities for fun. When we see a movie or read a book, these kind of passive art forms, whatever, they can be miserable. We don't necessarily, you know, you could read a book that's pure misery, maybe it's just something that you think is important to read. Or we see a movie about something that we consider important or a good story. It can be miserable. They're passive things, so let it be miserable. You know, you can watch a happy movie or a miserable one, that, you know, but both are valid, either or, you know. But where did video games sit with that? Because I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I heard this game is not fun, I'm not going to play it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if I would use the word fun either. Would I? I enjoyed playing it quite a bit, but would I use the word fun? I don't know. And that, I guess that got me all existential about, like, does a video game is a more involved activity than just watching a movie or reading a book, whatever. So does it have to be fun? Do activities always need to be fun? And if so, is a game an activity? Should a game be fun? Again, I think it is fun to play. I mean, I think it's more the story that makes it like you don't want to use the word fun, but it's fun to play a game and do stuff you can't do in real life. So I do think there is fun there. But the story being miserable the whole time, this game kind of pushed that in terms of like, hey, if an HBO show can do it, if a movie can do it, and people accept it, if we accept the Chernobyls of the world, I mean the miniseries, not the actual event. I don't accept the actual event, but the miniseries is good. If we accept that, will we accept that in a game? I don't know. I don't even know what point I'm getting to with that. It just got me existential thinking about games and stuff like that. But anyway, but I gotta say, I really liked how it ended. Overall, I really did like how it ended, where you reach Abby and again, it just twisted the knife that much further. How twisted this was, that you went all the way out to California, and then you make it all the way through, and you kill this whole group, and you finally get to Abby, and I mean, she's tied to a fucking stick, her hair's all cut off, she couldn't look like more of a mess, and you still can't let her go. And it's like, dude, oh my God, we still have to fight? Yeah, it just drove it that much more insane. And to me, it was just, I do think they drove the point home. I remember when they announced this game, I was at, I think it was PSX 2015, 16. I was there when they announced it, which everyone was kind of like, ooh, are you sure about that? Ooh. People were excited, but it was just like, first one ended perfect. I don't know about this. There was a lot of that, but I went to I was in the the panel or whatever they did in the room. I was in the room when Neil Druckmann came out with the cast, and he basically said, he's like, I know people are saying, don't touch this story, but I think we have an idea that's worth doing, so please trust us, whatever. And I remember him saying, the first game was kind of about love. Amidst all this stuff, the theme was love. And this game, the theme is hate. I think they nailed that. It being a story of how hate truly grows like the fungus and infects and spreads like the fungus, in the game is, I think it worked. There's one point that there's a point where you walk by a bunch of soldiers having a conversation, and it was like, oh, you didn't like what I did? What was I supposed to do? And they were like, well, not spray them with bullets. They were kids. Yeah, but those kids beat up that guy. Yeah, well, the guy shot the other guy. Yeah, it's like, it just keeps going from person to person to person to person to person to person to person. I think the theme of it being hate was, I do think they landed that. And how it, again, her, fighting Abby and then losing two of her fingers. And then in the last scene, she just goes to play guitar and she can't quite play it the same. And she'll never get that back. How hate kind of gets in the way. I thought that part worked, and I've thought about it a lot since. And again, it having that theme and the shit that they drag you through from beginning to end of that game has stuck with me. And I can't name another game like that. So I commend it quite a bit. For that stuff at least. Again, so as a game, I really enjoyed it. I thought a lot of the partners you were partnered with were not as, frankly, as enjoyable as the first one. I liked a lot of story choices. I did. But there's a lot of situation, a lot of characters I didn't care about. It comes down to, like, there were a lot of characters I didn't really care about, I guess. Not that they were bad, I just didn't care, I guess. But the journey, I've just never seen a journey like that in a video game. So there's good and there's bad. I was kind of, I think the only shortcoming for me, and I'm going to sound like a twerp here. I'm just going to sound like, I don't know. I'm a sci-fi baby at heart. So like the human story was well done here. But I'm the kind of fucking dork that was like, I was kind of hoping we'd like learn more about the infection, or maybe we see maybe we see Ellie's like mom and dad, or we find out why she's immune or something like that. I know that's probably like, Rocco, come on, like what does that have to do with what we got here? But that's the kind of stuff that I love, is like we go a little deeper down the rabbit hole, or maybe there's some additional mystery, maybe even if it goes unanswered with the infection. I would have loved that. I love that kind of stuff, but that's just me. But again, we still got cool stuff with the infection, but it kind of did take a backseat a little bit. We got that. I keep bringing up that boss, but that mega clicker was like unbelievable. That part was crazy. But yeah. So I think I'm like I said, I'm overall gonna give it credit for being as bold as it was. They could have sold a lot more copies and been a lot more safe to protect their investment. And I like that they didn't go that route, whether it worked or not. I don't hold it against anyone to be put off by this game. Honestly, I don't. I think it won't. I think it, it puts people in a weird position and they don't want to fucking deal with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I appreciate that it really was a standout one way or another. I really think I can't name another game quite like this on the epic scale. The word epic is so like, it's just been ruined. I can't stand, oh, that's so epic. Yeah, but it's like, what's you want me to say? Grand scale. I don't know, whatever. I can't name another thing like that. And I can't say it enough. The game was gorgeous. All the artists, pat yourself on the back. I can't say it enough. And visually, it was in like 4K or PS4 Pro, whatever. Oh my God. I mean, the whole thing looked great. So I'm saying overall, I dug it. Was it as good as the first Last of Us? No, I don't think so. The first Last of Us is perfect setups, payoffs. What a fantastically done. Every note of it to me is perfect. I mean, it might not be everyone's kind of game, but for me, it checked every box. Every setup and payoff, every character, every act of the game was like its own vignette, and it all came together into just this perfect recipe. And I think it's fantastic. This had a lot of questionable stuff in it. But really, I can't say it enough. They took a risk, and I think that's cool. So I don't know. Was that a good review? Was that a nasty review? I don't know. No, but overall, I'm gonna say it was a good review. I think, again, you gotta appreciate those who shake things up. You do. That's pretty much all my thoughts. I really just wanted to get them all out off the top of my head. I didn't have like a real plan or a real like moral to the story kind of thing. I just wanted to get it out there. Hopefully this goes over better than my Final Fantasy VII review. What I did when I talked about Final Fantasy VII, I said I liked it, but then I said I kind of, I just kind of had issues with the last act. But everyone was telling me, I can't believe you hated it. And I was like, I didn't hate it. I think this one's going to go the other route, where I think everyone who was pissed off by this game is going to go like, how can you give them credit? Are you kidding me? But it's like, I don't know. I don't think you're invalid. I think there's a lot of stuff to kind of go like, what? Really? But I like bold moves, and I'm kind of entertained by that. But I voiced my complaints, as well. So I don't know. I think I see a lot in all the columns here, So, and that has nothing to do with columns on Genesis, the best puzzle game of all time. That's just a joke. Panel de Pawn is, listen, my next video, I'm going to discuss the merits of columns versus Panel de Pawn versus Clax, another underrated Genesis puzzle game. Go down, forget the other ones. Go play Clax. Why did I start? Why am I talking about clacks? What was the point of this? Oh my god.